Welcome to Is Business Central Turning into Bloatware? Hey, I'm Eric, and just the other day we got the version 20.1 start rolling out to a lot of customers, and nothing is different from any other month where we get an update. So that's pretty cool. But then I started getting calls from customers saying, hey, why is the Shopify thing in all our menus? Why is we're using WooCommerce, or we're using Sana, or why do we have Shopify in our system suddenly? And sure enough, the Shopify connector is now installed everywhere, which is kind of strange. And you could theorize why it's here. So it's made by Microsoft in cooperation with Shopify. And until I saw this, my impression was that, hey, it would be an app in App Source, and if you need a Shopify connector, you could go get it. But now it's kind of turning into being, sorry to say that, being a little like Candy Crush for Windows 10. Right? We buy an operating system, and then we get games that maybe we want them, and then we could go to the Windows Store and download them. But now we get them, and perhaps there's a way to get rid of them. Perhaps there's not a way to get rid of them. And to be honest, this might be a very visible example, and also from a performance perspective. This, even though you're not using Shopify, you're paying a price for having this app installed in your system. This have several table extensions, so you're extending sales header and other things, meaning that there is a passive impact on your system's performance with this app installed. And since if you're not using Shopify, if you're using Sana, if you're using Woo, whatever, you're not getting anything from it. So you can uninstall it, but that's great. You go to Extension Management, you find the Shopify connector, and you say uninstall. You might even want to just, if you don't check the delete extension data, the data that's there, that might be demo data or whatever, will just sit there, be dormant. So if you need it and you install it again from App Source, or you just hit install here, then you're back to what you had. So this is what I have been doing at several customers, simply because they don't need it. So why is it in the system? But taking that just a bit further, and you start looking at all these other things that are in here. Do I ever import QuickBooks payroll files? Well, I think I would only do that if I ran QuickBooks Payroll. I don't. Did I upgrade from Dynamics GP so I would get the look into the old data and stuff like that? Well, no. And here's another pair. So the Contuso Coffee demo dataset. What's that? Well, as part of Microsoft putting Business Central into the partner portal where you can easily deploy a demo environment and so on, there is a new demo data set. Compare this to Kronos. So for supply chain demos, which great, but do I need them? or could I just go get them in AppSource if I needed them? And on and on. So cloud migration. Well, if you upgraded from an old version of Business Central or NAV on-prem and all that, well, yeah, then you need cloud migration. But if you're just a new customer going on board on this and have never used anything like this before, you don't need those apps. So what I did was that I ended up creating myself a little spreadsheet. And then I kind of looked at the apps and started to look at this from a, must have and nice to have. And I may even be, this might not be right, but there was just my look through, and I thought I would share this with you. So maybe you use AMC banking. So this is done on a Canadian version. So your list might look different depending on what country you're in. So I might not need AMC banking because we might not be using it. Sure, I need application, I need base app, and that's for the system to run. Cloud migration, well, unless I upgraded from an older version, I have no need for it. Ceridian Payroll, no, or perhaps yes, but if I wanted that, I could easily get it from AppSource, which is kind of the story with all the red ones, that if I need it, I can get it from AppSource. Company Hub, maybe I only have one company, so I would never need Company Hub. We already talked about the Contoso Coffee demo dataset. Data Archive is kind of weird because that is so we can do data compression, and when you do data compression, you will compress entries into a single summarized entry and then delete the rest. So Data Archive is a way to archive those functions somewhere else, and so that's kind of part of the the base offering, but it's in an app by itself. Maybe as I'm in Canada, I don't need the Mexican stuff, GP stuff. We got all the email connectors here. Maybe I just use one connector and don't have the other one, need for the other ones, but they're all here. The Yodlee bank feeds, that one could also be read with the filter I'm applying right now. The essential business headlines is what you see on the Roll Center. Image analyzer, QuickBooks, payroll files import. The intelligent cloud base. So if you not doing intelligent cloud is where you can connect a on-prem to a cloud version and use some of the stuff there. Late payment prediction is one of the AI, the same as the image analyzer, the AI modules where you can use machine learning to look at who's probably going to pay late. QuickBooks migration, same thing. Payment links to PayPal. Well, if I'm not putting links to PayPal on my invoices, I have no need for this. Recommended apps. Yeah, that's. I think I have a video on that one. So if you're not subscribed, you should totally subscribe and find the video on recommended apps or any of the other videos. Lots of stuff on the channel, so go check that out. Sales and inventory forecast, the same thing as the late payment prediction and the image analyzer, so use AI. Send remittance advice by email. A very base app kind of functionality that is being put into its own app. Send to email printer, yeah. And then the Shopify Connectors, which was the one that actually started this video. Simplified bank statement import. Again, what we see here with this one and like the what was it, the data archive, it seems that when Microsoft is building new stuff on in the base app, and that new stuff can be appified. Looks like they're appifying it. System application. Troubleshoot fixed asset ledger entries. Well, if you have rounding issues, then you have an app to solve that. But if you do not have rounding issues, or you're not using fixed assets, then I don't see why we need that app all of us. And the last one on my list is universal print integration. And if you're not using that for print, then you don't need the app. And so the interesting thing here is that if I take this list and say how much is let's see what keyboard I have configured right now. If I take this list and somehow make it fit on one screen, I think at this point there's probably more lines that are red than are black, and that's the definition of bloatware. So I think Microsoft is at a fork in the road and saying, okay, how are we looking at this? What is it that we get out and give to our users by default? What is it that we offer them through app source? Or perhaps Microsoft themselves should start using the recommended apps. Maybe they want to put the Shopify Connector in their recommended apps, for instance, saying, hey, this is a first-party app from Microsoft if you need Shopify integration. If you don't need, well, then you don't need the app. So I think it's important that. So two aspects here. I'm thinking and talking at the same time. That I'm failing at both. So you needs to make sure that you only have stuff in your system that you do need, right? And if you're in doubt, you can try in the sandbox and remove some of the apps in the sandbox and see that your system is still behaving like you expect it to before you try it in production. Microsoft needs to decide what they actually offer and what they offer directly by, and Shopify even comes in an upgrade, right? So it was not there in a 20.1. They got it 20.0. They got it in 20.1. Suddenly it was there. So it's not just a new provisioned environment. It's existing environments they're adding these apps into. So I think Microsoft needs to consider very hard how they're doing this. And there's probably some sort of business agreement between Microsoft and Shopify. Hey, we will promote the Shopify Connector and we will put it out to a lot of people and so on. But same story with Candy Crush or the Facebook app and so on. But I don't like it. I think an ERP system should be to stand above stuff like this and tactics like this. Anyway, that's my spiel on this whole mess, and I would love to hear your opinion. Comments below, and shoot me down if you have an argument and say, hey Eric, you're totally wrong. I'm still standing, so yeah, I want to know what you think. And if you want to get back to the usual programming on the channel, there are plenty of AL programming stuff like this one right here, which is one of the best videos. So go check that one, and I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.